Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here doing a first quarter resolutions recap for you guys. How this video is going to work is, if you remember the resolutions video I posted back at the beginning of this year, there will be 4 main categories that I want to talk about in terms of my resolutions and some first quarter goals that I was supposed to accomplish. But if you guys want to see what those resolutions are and how I'll fine tune them, then keep on watching. Looking on the months of January, February, March as a whole, I think I did a really good job in terms of establishing routines to kind of benefit those resolutions I created. I felt that January was really good in terms of establishing routines. In terms of all 3 months, I guess you could say the biggest hiccup I had was definitely in March, and as I mentioned in my March favorites, and as I mentioned also in my workout split for April, March was not a good month. In terms of the resolutions themselves, I definitely did better in some categories rather compared to others. When I made the goals in whatever month, I think it was December, I started like brainstorming what first quarter goals I wanted to accomplish compared to where I am now. It shows how much you change in such a short amount of time. But the first topic I wanted to talk about was creativity, and this resolution every year is always a struggle for me. I say that I want to be more creative in terms of creating things. So whether it being creating music or getting more in touch with my artistic side or something of that nature, I always struggle because I don't give myself enough credit. So my first quarter goals for creativity purposes was I wanted to find a creative hobby to start implementing, whether that being sketching, drawing, or musical instrument. The other thing that I wanted to accomplish was to start coloring and detoxing and using time to sketch out thoughts and processes 3 to 4 times a week. I will tell you first off the bat that I did not do any of those things. When it came to sketching or drawing, I didn't even open a coloring book at once. And again, I think it's because I don't account for myself that I am creative with this channel, with the blog, and with all these different things that, like, I think creativity, I'm thinking of creating art, creating music, creating whatever, and I don't really give myself a lot of credibility when it comes to that. This was definitely the hardest resolution for me to kind of break of that mindset of like, this isn't what you're doing, but I still feel that I did accomplish some things. My second quarter goals for my creativity resolution is actually going to be to buckle down and buy a keyboard, and I'm going to start teaching myself new songs and how to learn to play the piano at least twice a week. I'm not trying to learn Mozart, I'm not trying to learn Beethoven, I'm just wanting to learn some basics because I just think the piano is such a beautiful instrument. It's one thing I've always wanted to learn. I was a kid and I took lessons and I was okay, but I was so reluctant. I never wanted to learn to play, and now as an adult I wish I took the time to do so, and why not teach yourself something new at 25, right? This group of resolution topics is the financial aspect, and this one I felt was really strong compared to last year. The first quarter goals that I had for my resolution for financial things was to bring down the balance of one of my credit cards to about $500 and dedicating that as an emergency fund only. Another one was stowing away money in a piggy bank to save up to $200 before the end of April, and the third one was to pay off one store credit card. When it came to the emergency fund, I would have brought that down to $500, and that balance was kind of hanging around about $900 or so. I would have brought it down to $500, but that is something in a future video that I will talk about why I couldn't do it just yet. Rainy day fund isn't quite at $200, and the reason why is because when I made the ultimate goal, I didn't account for the small daily goals and the small monthly goals I was accounting for myself. When I balance my wallet, I try to keep my wallet at a flat like $50 of just cash in there, and whatever is extra I just throw in that piggy bank, and I wasn't accounting that I actually had a goal already established for $200. I think right now there's about $130 in there, and my monthly goal for April is to have that at $150. I'm not really kind of counting that as like a loss either, because I just wasn't really in consistency with both goals. Decided that that money is going to be used for Gen Beauty when those tickets become available. I've decided that I'm going to take the plunge and I'm going to go this year, whether it be by myself or not, but that money is going to be dedicated towards Gen Beauty. And then the one store credit card I wanted to pay off was for JCPenney's, and it isn't quite down there yet. It's paying about $75, and that was because I would have been paid off, but I needed new shoes, and a straightener was on sale for $45, and the rest is history. All when it came to financial things, I got into the mindset of not using my credit cards for anything, where it was like the only time I really used credit cards was for big ticket items. Like I know I went to the dentist and I paid $200 out of pocket on a credit card, but I'll get reimbursed for that through my insurance. Another thing was I had to pay for contacts, and it was one of those things where I was not going to the store and swiping my credit card. If anything, I was using my debit card, and that really kind of made me a little bit more of an iron fist when it came to spending and not spending. I definitely felt good when it came to financial things. I never at one point felt like stressed, like, oh my God, I'm not gonna have enough money for anything. I definitely felt better in that regard. So my second quarter goals for the financial aspect is to bring down that balance for the emergency fund credit card to $275, and I want to try to save up to close to $300 in the rainy day fund. And then also I want to bring the other store credit card that I have down to $250, and that balance right now is hanging at about $400. Definitely have learned to budget better, especially with our upcoming trip to Germany. You know, just really stowing away that kind of money for that, so I won't have to worry about stiping myself when it comes to, you know, using everyday money for that trip. My goal was to raise about $800 or so for that trip to Germany, and I think right now there's just over $500 in there. So I feel pretty confident about that. The next resolution item I want to talk about was obviously the biggest one that everybody wants to focus on, which is our fitness goals. And I've done a better job of breaking down my fitness regimes and my fitness workout splits and stuff on this channel, and that was something I wanted to do to kind of see the progression that I made and to really take you on a weight loss journey. So my first quarter goals for my fitness regime was to lose roughly 15 pounds and also to be able to run for 5 to 7 minutes straight. So I haven't quite done that yet. Into running, I had created a 5K training program that I wanted to establish, and obviously that didn't happen. If you watched in my February workout split, I really struggled when it came to running. I was perpetually sore, my knees were constantly hurting, and I was doing more damage than I was good. So the running thing was a completely botched goal in terms of moving forward. But when it came to the weight loss, March was a huge hiccup for me. I didn't end up losing any weight. If anything, I lost like 0.2 pounds, which is nothing compared to what I had been losing in February and January, and even so far in April. I had such problems with motivation, with commitment, with just I was trying to make too many excuses. I was trying to, you know, appease everybody, and like I wasn't listening to what my body was telling me. I was just really kind of lackluster when it came to going to the gym or wanting to go to the gym or finding that inspiration, and I really had a setback with it. I have gotten more comfortable with a routine where it's like I don't make excuses to say I don't want to go to the gym anymore, even if I'm there for half an hour, and even if I'm there and I'm literally just dragging so much ass trying to get through the workout, I look at it as if I still went. Crossing off those days on the calendar and crossing them with X's and seeing that you did it, it really does put a lot forward, like on your motivation train. Currently, before we even think of doing the workout split for the month of May, I am about 2 pounds off from my absolute lowest last year when I was in my full workout split, like, you know, healthy living, healthy lifestyle. I can't say ever been, because like I certainly have been a lot less while actively working out, but compared to last year, I'm 2 pounds off when it comes to hitting that lowest point. And then from there, it'll really kind of springboard to the next set of goals for myself. And I want it to be about halfway down to my ultimate. So my second quarter goals is to continue to lose weight, and my plan is to lose another 15 pounds between the 3 months. So with the mindset of losing about 3 to 5 pounds a month, I haven't really decided what I want to do in terms of splits after the workout splits I have been doing, because I've been using the Spot Abby weight loss, and the next cycle that I will do will be the bikini body. I haven't quite decided what I want to do after that. Maybe that'll be start training for a 5K. Maybe that'll be, you know, just kind of creating my own split. I haven't thought that far because I still have another program that I'm going to be following, but it is definitely something to start considering. Last topic of resolutions was the intellectual resolution, and my first quarter goals for that were to maintain French fluency at 70% while bringing my Russian fluency to about 20%. I wanted to read at least 7 books, and I wanted to finish the skill-wise tutorials I bought last year. When it came to the languages, we completely pumped the brakes on French and Russian once we booked our trip to Germany. It made no sense for me to continue to learn languages that I'm not going to be using, because like we're actually going to Germany, we're going to Amsterdam, that like it made more sense for me to want to start learning German and Dutch, which thankfully the 2 languages are very similar in terms of pronunciation for things, but learning those 2 have been much more important to me than learning the Cyrillic alphabet or learning French. And then when it came to the reading challenge, I've read 9 books so far, and I plan on finishing book number 10 tonight. And I've really established a really good habit of reading at least an hour before I go to bed, like completely winding down, putting my phone on the charger, putting my watch on the charger, turning the TV off, and just reading for an hour before bed. That's like one of my favorite points of the day, and especially when you're reading a good book. The book I've been reading right now is Beartown by Frederick Backman, and I highly recommend it. I've really loved the routine I've established for myself. And when it came to the skill-wise tutorials, I realized that they weren't really what I needed to learn, and it would have been essentially a waste of time because it's a lot of things I already knew. So I decided to botch that one. When it comes to my second quarter goals, my plan is to continue to learn German and Dutch before we go on our trip, to be as fluent enough with the basics that I can be. I'm not planning on going to Germany and speaking fluent, but I do want to be able to like navigate myself around if we needed to. My next goal is to read another 8 books, bringing the year total to 15, which will be the halfway point of the reading challenge of 30 books I've established for myself, which I really don't think that's gonna be hard because I flew through the first 10, and if I start finding books that I genuinely like reading and where I'm not like sitting there feeling like it's a chore, I will blow through those. I had one Sunday where I was reading a book and I literally didn't leave my bed, and I finished like 200 pages of this book because it was that good and it grossed me so much. That was definitely, you know, a kickstart and a spearhead to continuing that. So the last thing that I want to do intellectually is I want to learn 1 full song on the keyboard, put 3 of the 4 into working motion. It'll talk about budgeting, finding a cheap enough keyboard that I won't break the bank, talking about creativity because I want to create something, and also intellectually because I want to learn and teach myself something, and I want to prove that it's possible to do. Whether that be like I hang out on YouTube and I find tutorials, that's fine, but I definitely think that it's easy enough to do. That was my first resolution recap for the year 2018, and thank you guys so much for watching. Just truly appreciate it. If you like my videos and if you like my content and if you like me, feel free to subscribe by hitting the button down below and getting notified when I post new videos. I will also be sure to do a full breakdown of all the resolutions, and you guys can see those goals in black and white, keeping me more accountable over the vlog, and you guys can check that out over at Life with Sarah or at sarahlock.com, 2 H's, 2 K's, and I'll be sure to link all my social media profiles down below too, so you can follow me wherever I might be. And I definitely feel that this year has been off to a good start, besides March, but like, we'll give that, if that's the one bad month I have this year, then so be it, because like 25, it's a lot to take in, but I definitely feel that so far 25 has been one for the books. It's been a good year so far, and I can only hope that we continue that trajectory up forward and just live our best lives. So be sure to leave a comment below when it comes to your resolutions, how you guys are doing with your goals that you've set for yourself. And let's just keep this train moving forward, right? Like, we want to live our best lives. That's the goal for 2018, is to live your best life. So with that said, thank you guys again so much for watching. Take care, love you always, and until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye.